I thought there was going to be like a new one every break. I was so excited.
You want more, Hal? We'll give you more. Hal Sparks radio program, mega worldwide on Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT 820. Hoo-yah!
Welcome back to the show. It's a lovely birthday show. It's just it's very relaxing today. You know, I don't want to get too far into the heavy stories, but I will share another thing that happened this week that brought us all a little bit of joy. These little like sprinklings of things. You know what I mean? We just come in a little bit. You know, it's not going to change. Is the world changing? No. Is it? Finally, there is some minor justice in the world. Rudy Giuliani has been banned from Fox News for the last 3 months. He found out the night before 9/11 when they wouldn't schedule him to come on to talk about, to say a noun and a verb in 9/11. On Newsmax Friday, Giuliani complained that he's not allowed on Fox News anymore to discuss Hunter Biden and that the network hasn't given him a full reason why. What's the problem between you and Fox? I don't know. They haven't given me a reason. They just said I'm banned. Well, that's a sign.
Who asked him that question?
Greg Kelly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the angriest man on television. Don't get me started on Greg Kelly, because we've gone. I mean, no one hates America more than Greg Kelly right now. Nobody. It's like right now, Greg Kelly looks at America like an ex who just won't stop dating his friends. It's just brutal, right? So, and this is no surprise, but obviously him finding out because they didn't book him on 9/11, which has just been a habitual knee-jerk reaction.
It's a no-brainer.
And an important part of his brand going, into this. How do you even have a business if you're Rudy Giuliani if you can't, noun, verb, and 9/11 every time somebody brings you up? And the problem is probably not that he would be on. First of all, he can't come on to talk about Hunter Biden's laptop because that entire thing fell apart and continues to fall apart. It continues to be garbage. I don't believe it exists. What laptop? I don't want to hear about someone got a copy of the hard drive and found this. No. I want to see the actual laptop. I don't want to see some concocted hard drive that the Russians put together in Ukraine and sold to Rudy Giuliani for $5 million when the asking price was originally $3 million. I'm tired of it. Right. I'm done with pretending that there's actually some there when there is absolutely not. There just isn't. They hacked Burisma. They got some real emails from him there. They probably hacked his phone at some point and got pictures out of his phone a long time ago. They used that and other stuff that they got from other places and concocted it together, made a deepfake version of a hard drive, and then shopped it around to see who wanted to buy it. And they sold it to Rudy Giuliani for above asking price. That's how it shook down. So and the way they get you, ask John Podesta or anybody in the Hillary Clinton email scandal or any of that stuff. By the way, they never got into her server. For all the talk about Hillary Clinton's server, right? The server is the big thing. Did anybody ever actually break into her server? It was more secure than the State Department. They got Petraeus's email. They got Colin Powell's emails. They never got Hillary's. Interesting. It just, except the ones that she gave and whatever. Anyways, we could retread that whole thing forever. But the fact that, they won't let Rudy on there to quote unquote talk about Hunter Biden's laptop anymore is because they know there's no there. And he's never going to produce it. And he's always lying. And then you find out there was this story in Peril, in the book Peril, which is an interesting read. And for a lot of folks, I think, in all honesty, if you follow the news, you know what's in it. There's not a lot in there that you're not going to know. But when it comes to, I'm going to see if I can look it up right now. As far as, there it is. So, and I also, I pre-ordered I'll Take Your Questions Now, the Stephanie Grisham tell-all as well, which is,
oh boy,
prurient as you go. But I made some notes. Lindsey Graham had sent his lawyer, who worked on the Judiciary Committee with him all the time to look over things, these memos from Rudy Giuliani about the hacked election and the fake votes and the dead people and the underage people and yada yada yada. And it's all in chapter 41 of the book. If you do get it and you want to check it out, you can kind of jump around if you follow the news in there. But this the guy that he sent it to, that Graham sent it to, his name was a guy named Lee Holmes. He's the chief counsel on the Judiciary Committee that Lindsey Graham works with. And Rudy sent this 20-page memo with 39 names on each page that are dead people that voted. And obviously this is a sign of fraud. Holmes starts looking into this and basically finds out that, yeah, these dead people voted. They were alive when they voted, and then they died before Election Day. They voted, and then they died. People do that all the time. Your vote I personally believe your vote should count if you voted when you were alive.
Yeah.
Even if you die before Election
Day.
Day.
If you voted legally while alive, your vote counts.
Right. And by the way, there's no, and they all voted for Biden. There's no even idea that these weren't just old Trump voters, right? Fox watching Trump voters in an old folks home. Robert Drakeford, for example, was 88 years old and got a ballot on September 18th. The ballot was returned 5 days later, and he died on November 2nd, according to the document. Another old person had voted and died, proving nothing, even if the document was accurate, and there's obviously no way to no reason to verify it. Giuliani had said in his memo to Graham that the data was definitive, and Holmes came up with it was a reckless claim. They include the actual memos that are being sent in the book, like sections of them. They don't do the whole lists of all his name, but Giuliani sent a second memo to this, and I'll read a portion of it. This is to Senator Lindsey Graham from Rudolph Giuliani, RE voting irregularities, impossibilities, and illegalities in the 2020 general election, dated January 4th, 2020. Introduction. The 2020 U.S. general election had several abnormalities that contributed to multiple irregularities, which raises concerns about the integrity of the election. Somebody's getting paid by the syllable. The concerns span multiple states and have consistent patterns in each of the states. Yes, Biden won. That's the pattern. Trump's unpopular.
I'm starting to hone in on a pattern here.
Yes. The concerns span multiple states. United States laws, as well as the laws of each of the states, set specific standards for who is eligible to vote and how and when votes may be legally cast. The information below details proven fallacies that invalidate the vote count and outcome of each of the respective states. Per your request, this memorandum is limited to traditional voter fraud in a sample of contested states and does not discuss machines, algorithms, and technological manipulation. So he sends him this memo with a list of accused voter fraud. And then sent him a PowerPoint presentation, independent analysis conducted by expert CPAs and Ivy League, which is exactly that, the mathematical analogies, algorithm stuff that he's been talking about. They said that there were at least 27,713 illegal votes counted in Georgia's election. Holmes wondered who were these unnamed brainiac experts that Giuliani kept citing. The total is more than twice the 11,779 vote margin that gave Biden the state, which is exactly why, and you got to think about this, is January 4th. This is when, this is around the time when Trump is insisting that they just find these votes for me. There's 27,000. You don't have to get all of them. Just give me the 17,000. And for all the people who think that his phone call to Raffensperger is a slam dunk legally, you have to understand that Trump, at his very root, is a moron with an easily manipulated ego. And Rudy Giuliani is too. And so what you have is a moron whispering in the ear of another moron. And so the trickle-down moron effect is that Trump could claim that he believed Giuliani when he said these things. That Giuliani just would not shut up about this stuff. And if you read any of the books about those times, Giuliani is always talking about this. There's so much massive voter fraud, and we have all these affidavits, and it's all proof, and it's all real, and it's all that. And at a certain point, Trump's brain is so doughy and accepting of anything that benefits him. Like he can,
and that's a compliment.
Yes. it's porous, to say the very least, that anybody even suggests a possibility where he could win in a situation where he's losing, he's going to want to believe it and dive full in on it. And apparently, at this point, he was in full-on Nixon screaming at paintings mode. So where Giuliani might know full well in that 6-page memo that came out this week also that pointed to the fact that Pat Cipollone and people in the White House all knew that this was garbage. They knew that there was no voting irregularities. They knew everything was fine, and that this was something that Giuliani was selling to Trump, and Trump was more than willing to buy. He was getting high on Giuliani's supply in that regard. That ultimately, they could look past this. Trump could look past this because he willfully wanted it to be true. And in every circumstance where you've got you think Trump's going to be dragged in front of a court where they go, you tried to foment a revolution, he's got a dozen outs, according to this book and others, where he full-on believed that he had won because he's a lunatic.
Wow.
I mean,
he's a lunatic and had a lot of people telling him very convincingly to him that it happened.
That's right. And so he's always been willing to throw people under the bus for a very long time. Like, that's never been a problem for Trump. And in this particular case, Giuliani has been, Hal Sparks, Rudy is a leaker. Somebody's saying, yes, he leaks from his temples. This is Trump's out right here. In peril, in these other books, in these stories around it, you can clearly see them painting a picture of a man spiraling downward. And right now, if you look at his behavior, he holds it together. I think I told people we got to take a break, but I knew Patty Davis back in the day, and we watched the Republican National Convention in '92 together when her dad spoke for the last time, when Reagan gave his last speech to the RNC for Bush, trying to help him get reelected against Clinton. And in that speech, he kept saying, all right, all right, all right, all right, every time they started doing big applause moments. And the reason was because his dementia was getting so rough that he was afraid it was going to get away from him. And if he started to wander off his speech, he would never come back. And he knew that. And he was scared about that. And he'd been talking to his doctor about it. And they said that speech took a year off his life because of the stress of doing it. Yeah. And yet the RNC just, had to trot him out to try and, get the old magic back because they saw that it was slipping away. Trump is in sort of a similar situation. If he gets up there and he just can say his ramble and stay there and nobody interrupts him in any major way, he'll do what's there and he'll kind of find his way back to the teleprompter. But I don't expect tonight people will be seeing the Trump magic that they liked in 2015 at this rally, and it's just going to get worse. Year over year, time after time, it's going to get worse. We got to take a break. We'll be back right after this. It's the Hal Sparks Radio program, mega worldwide on WCPT 820, and if you go to WCPT820.com, you can listen to all your favorite liberal talkers on there through the website. You can program it on your phone, and then you plug your phone in your car, and off you go. It's super easy. It's amazing. We'll be back.